All right, everyone, welcome back. Welcome to the afternoon session for today's Nasdaq futures live trading. We'll give everyone just a couple minutes to join, and then we'll get our afternoon session going. We just had news released for the 10-year bond auction, so prices should be out now. All right, Miss Healthy, how's it going? Queen is back. Oh, Mess is here. I'm just looking at some of the higher time frames here, especially the 4-hour. It was a very promising candle before lunch, but now with the retracement, it's not looking as promising as it was before. All right, just a couple more minutes. Juan Carlos, how goes it? Good afternoon. All right, let's go ahead and look and see what the results were of the bond auction. All right, 4.17. The yield looks a little bit higher than it was last month. Again, tomorrow, the only news is a very similar event at the same time, but it's for the 30-year bonds. Right, Robin's back. Yeah, for me too. 10 a.m. Still early. I'm still on my third cup of coffee. Normally, I used to finish this before the first session, before the morning session was over. I'm still having it. All right, let's also let's take a look at our comparison chart, and let's look and see where we are currently on the dollar. So the dollar should clearly be impacted by the bond auction that just occurred. So far, it's showing bullish, but not a huge range. It's only been 6 minutes, but not a huge range. We see all the indices trading lower at the moment. The difference between the three is we have two that are inside of bullish fair value gaps, whereas on the Dow had a bullish fair value gap during the lunch hour. It closed below, so that fair value gap is gone, and it's currently trying to create a bearish fair value gap on the hour to signal lower prices. So we'll see how this lands. We got a long time, still another 50 minutes before this candle closes, and when it does, we want to see where it is and what price action looks like at that time. I mean, if we just take a look at where the Dow is, let's see, as far as its retracement, right, we're right at 50% now, and that's based off of the wick, the long wick coming off of the 8:30 news event. And if we just go on candle bodies, we can see that we're very near, in between 71 and 78% was the retracement. But if we do take the full range and grab the wick, we're in between 50 and almost 62%. On the other side, if we do the same thing for E-mini S&P, right, we got to 50% to the tick, and that's as far as we, and then it retraced to close out the candle, and now we're pushing down towards the 50% once again. But we did get to 50%, and now let's check out Nasdaq and see how far we made it. Okay, not quite to equilibrium yet, so we have not traded to discount, so we are going to push up. We do want to see price at least make it to discount. But as you can see now, the dollar is still putting in higher values so far this hour. And so it would surprise me if we start seeing higher values right now. We would need the dollar to start reversing before that would occur. And we do see all three in sync, and also in sync with the dollar, move in the opposite direction. So with that, let's move back over to NQ. I'll move this in just a second because the macro period's almost over. During this macro, we are seeking out this swing low right there. Back to the 5-minute. Yep, we can see below we have equal lows. Just below that, we have the new week opening gap, and then the midnight at 8:30 open just below that. So we are really, really close to a lot of PD arrays, a lot of areas that price would like to trade to, looking for liquidity. But first things first, we would need these equal lows to be swept. Right now, it's still inside of a 5-minute fair value gap. Want to welcome any newcomers to the chat. If this is your very first time and well, let me take that back. If you've just seen the channel for the first time, I would like for you to say something in the chat, but in order to do so, you need to subscribe. So how about if you've just subscribed, today is the first day that you've subscribed to the channel, or you've subscribed recently and you've never said hello or anything in the chat. If you could jump in and just, introduce yourself, just give us a quick statement about how long you've been trading and where you're coming from. Uh, Deepak, yes, the auction was about 12 minutes ago. It is behind us. All right, Michael, you're new to the channel from New Jersey. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. Are you a new trader, Michael, or you've been trading for, a year or so, or a little bit longer? McTony's, you're back. Good afternoon. A little longer. Okay. All right, no worries. Again, welcome. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, it looks like it was nothing. It happened at 1 o'clock, 1:01, as they say. And here we are at almost 1:15. And so far, we haven't seen anything, no type of big reaction or anything. And that was going to be, or supposed to be, a high impact news event. Just give me one moment. There we go. It's been a minute. Well, good to have you. Glad you're back. All right, let's see what we get this afternoon. So far we've had a lot of activity this morning. So pretty large range actually. If you look at from 8:30, we moved from 200 to about 380. Right, so we're talking 175 points here. Then we went down 200 points to about 170. And back up to what, 455. So we went 285 points, 275 points there. And then so far now we've already retraced from the high just before lunch. We've already retraced another 130 points. So there's been a lot of volatility so far today, a lot of trading action, a lot of price action to give you entries for trades. Maybe not necessarily extremely long trades, but definitely enough to get 50 or 60, 70 points, whatever you were looking for. So we look for that to continue. Hopefully we get some good price action this afternoon and we can find some entries. Measure this once again. All right, measuring from the candle body here on the 5-minute, we have passed equilibrium into discount. We see a slight push here from discount. And let's see how far it goes and whether this first swing high is within reach. Okay, we have these equal lows here, but let me also highlight these highs. This is the high that created this low. And so we're still in between this range, 388 and 323. So that's 55 points there. Okay, at the current moment, price is pushing through this little bearish fair value gap here on the 5 minute. It's created by this big candle here. Okay, we got a closure above, so that invalidates that fair value gap. Let's see now if we get one created on this side as a bullish one. So if price retraces maybe just a little bit, but then continues to push higher until the closure of the candle. Okay, have a breach of that swing high now. Okay, that was strong. We'll see in another 3 minutes where this next 5 minute candle closes. Yeah, no worries, Queen. Yeah, that's right, Ray. You did mention the 1020 candle this morning. Yeah, and I did point out at the start of the session here, I don't know if you were on or not, that um, where the discount was and that we had punctured discount a couple times. So I did highlight that for everyone as well. I'm not sure how many people took an entry from that. Just go back to the comparison chart just for a moment, see where we are. Tapping the discount on S&P was last hour. On this range, we still didn't get it on NQ. But on the 5 minute, we definitely did tap into discount. Here, if we're taking candle bodies, we're down at 70%. All right, let's get rid of these. And we're not getting a lot out of the dollar right now. It's just kind of hovering around the area it's been in since we started the hour. But it's not uncustomary for the dollar to, in the afternoon, to have a smaller range and just kind of have lethargic movement. All right. As I mentioned, also, we're going to, at the end of the hour, we're going to look and see if we have traded above and closed above these fair value gaps and whether they're still valid. We had a bearish one here for the Dow. If everything continues to buy, then what we may end up seeing here is an inverse. So let's see if we can, if the dollar can trade above, I'm sorry, the Dow can trade above and close above this area and turn this into an inverse fair value gap for itself. And then it will be right in line with the other two. This channel for the afternoon, we go from 1300 until 1600. And for the morning, we do 9:15 until 12. All right, we're looking at price now where it has done a small retracement after sweeping this high. Sweeping a swing high up at 388. And then we had a one candlestick retracement. And now the follow-up candle is trying to make up its mind where it wants to go. Another 2 minutes before the candle closes. Take a look at where is the Dow and S&P trading. Give me a second. Let me go and close my laptop. It keeps it's trying to figure out whether I'm actively using TradingView on my desktop or on my laptop. Just give me a second. I'm going to go and close the laptop up. All right. Hopefully that fixed it. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Let's see how far this wants to retrace. We've already had the one candle retrace. Let's see if it wants to go any further than that. It created a swing low right here. 3 minutes on this 5-minute candle. Make another entry somewhere else. We've got about 15 minutes before 2 o'clock for the top of the hour here. And in just 5 minutes, the macro will begin, and we'll see if there are some instructions pushing towards a liquidity level that's close to us. And we'll look for an entry at that time. I do not use Bookmap. Nope. All right, since we're moving close to the macro, I'm gonna go ahead and shift down to the 1 minute. We still have 3 minutes before the macro begins, but that'll give us a chance to familiarize ourselves with the 1 minute chart before that happens. All right, we're still looking at essentially this being our protected highs and lows. All right, we're in the macro now, so we'll see if we get a trade above and a close above. So then we get a new high, which then gives us a new protected low. MSC horses, okay. 15 looks like it's forming an uptrend. Okay. Remember, anything in this range here does not change us back bearish. It's just a pullback of some kind. It's just a liquidity sweeps. If we see any of these swing lows go, it's just pulling back, gain some orders, stop some people out before continuing. We're not looking at bearish price action until we get way down here somewhere. In fact, we need to actually eclipse this low in order to create that. Here's a 2-minute. Look, it looks a little cleaner. Nope. Shalur, I am not in a trade at the moment. You'll see if I'm in a trade, it's usually right here. You'll see it on this screen if I'm in a position. Right now, I'm just reading price to see where I think it may be going. I was in a trade, but I abandoned my trade up in here because, as you can see, there's some nice long wicks, and every candle just kept wicking, and it wasn't really making progress. And so I got out of that trade, but I was in about maybe 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I made an attempt to continue this long, thinking it was going to be a retracement here, and then it was going to continue, even though this retracement here is not really a deep one. Right, we probably didn't even get enough to qualify. Okay, we barely got enough to qualify as a retracement, 38%, just barely, but not enough, not 50%, which would be equilibrium, trading into a discount for a continuation. That also would satisfy when you overtake a swing point to your left. A lot of times, price likes to trade back down and retest that area just to make sure that its previous resistance becomes support. And so none of that occurred. And maybe that's what we're going to see now. In fact, let me leave the Fibonacci up for just a moment, just see if it retraces a little further and we can get an idea of where it is. You know what? Let me make it easier. I'll just put that there. We can get rid of this. All right, I was just about to say Dow has taken over its lunchtime high, whereas S&P and NQ has not. And so, you know what? Let me go ahead and mark those up as the session highs. Well, yep. 23.75, 23.25. All right, so it got within 2 ticks of sweeping the low and didn't do it. No, I'm gonna delete that line. We'll just keep the lunch low. Okay, we made a new high, closed above. And okay. Now this becomes our protected low. Yeah, dollar is not showing a big range this hour. In fact, since we're closing out this hour, let's go ahead and just get our our latest update on what the comparison chart is looking like. Oh, geez, it's still doing that. Right, so we had the full hour for the most part of buying for all the for the equity markets, and the dollar showing a small range, but even within that small range, it started to sell, and it's pretty much sat there for the last 20 minutes or so, or maybe a little longer. And now here we are closing out the hour. So we'll see what comes next. We're hoping that the dollar pushes down this way, and that we see a move from here down into the fair value gap. And from there, it could bounce out. It could continue downwards. It's a lot of things it can do, but we're looking for it to go down here first. And in turn, that will keep the equity markets pushing up. $3.95. My code. Oh, all you have to do is you have to click the link in my description, Khaled. There is no code. It's just the link in the description. It'll direct you to Topstep, and it'll link it as a referral from me. Yeah, we should be careful if we get a close here above 409, because that's going to shift our protected low upwards and make it a lot easier to break structure here on the low time frame. Still doesn't impact the higher time frame. I need to go and look. Actually, it doesn't automatically impact the higher time frame, but we need to pay attention there. At least on this low time frame, we may start seeing maybe some more lows sweat. All right, there's that closure. There. But price is pushing pretty hard. We may actually get that lunchtime high in the next few minutes, if not this minute. Remember, the lunch high is 18,424. Okay, both S&P and Nasdaq are close to the lunchtime high. And finally, we got a little bit of momentum going on the dollar pushing downwards. It's already swept the lows of last hour as well as lunch. All right, there it is. Lunch high is now gone. So now the only session open that we have is the lunch low. And yeah, that's it. We have the March 8th lunch high up next at 860. I'm sorry, 464. All right, up next, we just had a tap into the 4-hour fair value gap. We had a trade into it earlier this morning, right? Traded all the way nearly to the top. The top of it is right here at 463, but it traded through 75, 80% of it. And then we saw it melt down into the lunch hour. So this is our second go at it. We just had just a wick tap into it. We'll now see how price reacts. The macro is over in 2 minutes, so I'll switch back to a higher time frame once that occurs. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, protected low. So I'm just going here with price action here. And so before the protected low was way down here, right? And our highs were here. And what we were waiting for was for a candle to trade above and close. And we got that over here. So when we had this candle over here, push up and close, that then protected low was down here at 18,376. Then we had a retracement back down. And then we had another high put in that closed above. So then that slid the protected low from here up. And so is this is the current price leg that as we retrace, we should stay in between this price leg before another bullish push. Granted, this is on a 1 minute, so it's not even if we sweep below this low here, we could just be going for some other little short-term targets. So you wouldn't expect for price to just run to all the lows that's on the chart. From there, like if I saw this low taken, then I would move up a time frame and move up to the 5 minute and see, okay, where's the protected low in the 5 minute? If it's in the same location, I'll move up to the 15, and I'll keep doing that until I find a time frame that didn't get impacted by this low being swept. So then I know about where I can expect price to retrace to before it may continue in its previous trajectory. Your son was typing. All right. MSC, I'm not sure what shadow theory is. Don't think I've ever heard of that. Yep. All right. So here we had a swing high broken here, but we're not going to move the protected low here until we get a trade above and a close above. Right. And now that we're out of the macro period, actually, I'm going to move up to the 5 minute, and we're just going to watch it from here. Right. And see here on the 5 minute. So on the 1 minute, trading below here would have signaled it moving lower. On the 5 minute, we're protected down to this point. And in fact, the 5 minute looks like MMBM. It's like a buy model here and for here. So maybe we'll get a retrace coming up soon, back down here, ultimately trading up to 458. And once we clip 458, March 8th, lunch high is sitting right there. Yep. All right. So now all three indices have taken their lunchtime high. Yeah, of the three indices, I would say right now the Dow is making the least amount of progress, moving the slowest. So that, yeah, that may be one to monitor if we're looking for an SMT or something this afternoon, is to pay attention to what's going on with the Dow. Right. So this was that high I was just talking about. Potentially, if this is a market make a buy model, we take past this high here, we get a little retracement down this direction. Right. Somewhere here, and then look for it to carry on. See. I know, TJ, man, they are trying to sabotage me. Definitely in the morning. I notice in the morning they rarely send new traders over to the room. And then in the afternoon, I'll get 3 times as many people when I know there's fewer people trading. But I get it. In the morning, it's the big players are out there in the morning, so I understand why they don't like to send traders our direction. But in the afternoon, we seem to do much better. Yeah, like we've had as many traders in the first hour and 15 minutes as we have in the morning for 3 hours. inside the 4-hour fair value gap. So this is 1, 2, 3. It's the fourth time in the last 20 minutes. All right, I'm gonna take off the 4 hours to. I like its influence on price, but it's definitely making my chart look ugly. You know, we all know that the 4 hours in this space occupy between this high at 433 and then the lunch high from March 8th. Said reset was the double bottom down here. Okay, the lunch low. Above 1150 candle, that would be our 5-minute bullish breaker. Use a tape, Oscar encroachment. Yeah, I know, me too. I'm hoping so. We'll see what happens though. Yep, so that there. See if we get something over and actually maybe it might be more in this area right here. Somewhere around 400. Okay, so we got another cross over this level once again. Let's see if it closes up there. And if it does, let's see if we get a retracement here. Let's go ahead and set this up for the next. A little taller, a little higher, 64.25. There we go. Top, there we go. Possibly. I'm not sure where I thought it was around 410, but it might have been 390. I know it was just before. It was right around 340-ish, or I'm sorry, 140. So it was. mm, yeah, let's see. Yeah, I was in at 398 and canceled it at 400. Yeah, Khaled, that happens more times than not. It's not that your analysis is wrong, it's your timing is wrong. That happens to me a lot too, where generally I'm early. Well, early or late. Only thing is, if you're late, you never enter. If you're early, that's when you take a loss. Unless you have a generous stop loss that protects you and you have patience to allow the trade to just continue to slow grind until it develops. Yes, I always trade off a TradingView. I don't use any other platform. You should have an email from Topstep, Khaled. Check your email. There should be an email there. Yeah, this 4 hour SIBI that you see in Q, this is what Ray is talking about. So this 4 hour SIBI is holding back price, or at least creating some obstacles. Whereas on S&P, that doesn't exist. They didn't have to go through that. So the S&P is just trading right through this and already into the 1 hour SIBI. We haven't even made it to the 1 hour SIBI because of the 4 hour one. Right. I thought we would have gotten another pullback after sweeping highs here. And it just wasn't to be. We got a pullback on the same candle where there was a rejection there, but then the next 2 to 3 subsequent candles continued to build on that position, sweeping the high from that rejection candle and continuing on, taking the previous swing high from the morning session. Right. Okay. Yep. So sweeping the morning session high gives us a new daily high. We did that twice, rejected on the second candle. Now we'll see where this candle wants to land. And it looks like we're getting another rejection from the 4 hour SIBI. We're also getting the same push down on the S&P and also on the Dow. And the dollar is also pushing down. So these last couple of minutes has definitely been bearish pressure on everything, it seems. Didn't realize my photo wasn't there. But let's go ahead and just do a quick check-in here on where we are on the indices. Right, you can see the big rejection on each of the indices. And you can see that same momentum here, except it's been downwards pressure the entire hour. So there is no wick above. But it is finally in that bullish fair value gap we were talking about. So now we need to see how the dollar wants to react here. Right, because it's pretty clear it's had a bullish swing here. It's been making highs, and the bullish candles are massive. So there's been a lot of energy behind putting in higher prices. So now that we see the retracement and we're inside of a fair value gap on the hourly time frame, we just want to let the dollar develop and show us what it wants to do from here, whether it wants to retrace into halfway or even deeper. Right now, it's just a shallow retracement, so we want to continue to monitor that. Oh, wow. Look, complete meltdown on all the indices. Here for the final, we're at the last 15 minutes of the hour. So switch back over to NQ and let's see how it closes out. Let's make that cleaner. Okay. See if this short rally starts to fail soon. I think a handful of you were looking for shorts or looking for a price to start turning around. You did, Ray. You did throw that out there. And you say, hey, guys, you got some confluence going on. Pay attention. Yep. And I do want to highlight the lunch low. The just after lunch at 105, it was 2 ticks short of the lunch low. So it's not equal lows quite. It's almost equal lows. All right, here we are on the 1 minute. Okay. So we got a rally on all three again. So it's, yeah, price is just all over the place now. Swept these equal lows, swept these equal lows, even swept this low right here. Dug into a fair value gap, gave a bullish push out. Now it's at consequent encroachment of the 4-hour SIBI once again. See, how does it close? Nope. Yeah, you're right, Robin. We got to 461, 3 points short. It may go and do that now. Now that we're inside of the macro, it may go and run that March 8th lunch high now. Nice push. There we go. There's the March 8th lunch high. That's also the upper extreme of the 4-hour CIBI. Granted, the 4-hour chart doesn't close until the end of today. So we'll see where we land at the end of today, whether that CIBI is invalidated or if it's still something we need to look at tomorrow. But as of right now, this upper extreme here is above the CIBI. However, that was the 4-hour CIBI. Now we have the 1-hour one, which is rather large, coming from, let's see, it came from Friday, 11 a.m. candle. And as you can see, it stretches about 130 points. So it's, brace yourself if you're in a long here. I think I saw we had a volume imbalance down here. All right, we have power hour coming up in just a couple minutes. Let's just get another peek just before we head into the next hour so we know where we are. All right, so we did have highs set in different hours. You can see where we had a little confluence there, but now all three have made new highs for the day. Go ahead and get rid of all of this. This CIBI here did turn into an inverse where now it hasn't been traded off of, but price did trade above and close and is continuing to push higher. So it was not a hindrance to price. So I'm going to leave that there. We see the dollar trading down into the fair value gap. It's a little deeper now. not quite to consequent encroachment or anything like that, but it is trading deeper. We're expecting it to get down to where this black line is, or at least into the area where we see the wicks poking out above. We're expecting that level of retracement and retest of the price level. So that should bode well for at least an early part of the next hour for the indices if you're in a long somewhere. All right, so we got about another dip in 1 minute and we'll get to power hour. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back over now. Just wanted to give you an update on the other indices. Yes. Yeah, if this sets up, you're taking it. Okay. 5 minute bearish breaker. Let me go and see if I can find that. I think if I'm not mistaken, this is probably the same size as the 5 minute. These right here, 41 down to 43. Yeah, because this is just inside the same range. This would be it. Close enough. Mm. Okay. Robin, 25 points. Is that your sweet spot there? You like 25 and then you cash out? Oh no, no, you don't. 25 points is good. That's a nice one, especially if you can find multiple setups in a day. You can if you get 25 points twice, that's plenty. I know when I used to do ES, I used to like 10 points, which was about the same. So it was like $500 for 10 points. It was around the same. I know some people were good at taking 5 points, but I always wanted 10. All right, CEO, welcome. Just in time for Power Hour. All right, let's see now if it just sits here in this zone, in this fair value gap, or if it goes for the swing low. Okay, there you go. So you'd be getting 25 points times five. See if we can't scalp this up. Oh well. Didn't want me to go along for the ride. I see. Okay. I get it. You want me to stay out? I'll stay out. No problem. Yeah, she may want to go, but from what I'm looking at, I'm not. I don't know. I do see a nice range that she could run, but I'm not that optimistic about it right now. So it's okay. I don't need the trade. I'd rather catch one at the earlier part of the range anyway. All right, Ray. I know you had a good day. You were talking about your positions earlier, so congrats again on reaching your targets. Pull up that 5 EMA. Nope, I don't. I'm not trade. I don't trade with EMAs. Not on the 5 minute. I don't really see a 5 minute bullish breaker. Right? No. Mm-mm. Unless you're calling, if you're calling this the breaker, the 11 to 11:20 ish. Yeah, TJ, appreciate that. Black candles does not usually mean down direction. Just because most people use the black candle as a down direction, the defaults is red and green. So I'm sorry it doesn't work for you, REI. Sorry, man, but it's just I would have hoped that by watching the candles, black candles moving up and the white candles moving down, you would have been able to make the adjustment. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think we've gone through this already. So let's see where everyone else is, what's going on. All right, so all the indices have started off the first 15 minutes of this hour, or excuse me, all retracing back into, well, not back into, but they're creating bullish fair value gaps. So they're all retracing back onto the wicks from a couple of hours ago. And the dollar is slightly pulling out of the fair value gap it was in. Not really doing a lot of damage, but it is showing a small bullish candle. All right, so we're back at 440. Making equal lows here. Back at fair value gap once again. Back to the 1 minute just to see how it looked last time. Okay, last time we had all candle bodies stay above the fair value gap. We had 2 wicks get inside. And so far we have the same thing going on. Probably just want to sweep low and make sure that no one else is able to get in before it does move. Okay. But either way, there's red folders tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, so there will be more opportunities to enter trades. All right, let's quickly get a peek at where everyone else is. All right, here's that slightly bullish candle coming out of the fair value gap for the dollar. It does have a bearish fair value gap above, so it's kind of trapped in the middle of the zone there. So we'll see what that means a little later. And then once again, Dow, it's, as I mentioned, all three are showing slightly bearish candles as they are forming fair value gaps. That'll either be confirmed or invalidated by the end of this hour. All right, Thursday. All right. Don't worry, TJ. You'll definitely get it. Oh, man. That sucks. Mm-hmm. Charlotte, you're right. You're right. When it's doing back and forth, yes, you can definitely scalp this if you're a skilled scalper. It can go fast. You're right. It can move quite fast. It just depends on what type of stop loss you're looking for. 800. All right. Equal highs again at 468 flat. Yeah, 47 is it's not bad. I mean, we've gotten 80 before, so I know how good it can be. But yeah, 47 is not bad. I think we had something like that this morning around just over 40. But yeah, hopefully people enjoy the stream and they are diligent enough to hit the like button. Yes, Trev Beats. Yep. If you go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification button, you'll get an alert either on your phone or your iPad, whatever it is you watch, wherever you watch YouTube. You'll get that alert every morning when we go live. It'll hit you up about 30 minutes before, just to let you know that it's coming. And then if you miss it, it'll send you another alert and let you know that I've gone live and we're on. But yeah, so we do a morning session and then we break for lunch and we come back and do an afternoon session. Yeah, I'm not sure how long I'll be streaming all day because, as I mentioned a couple days ago, I got into trading more or less for the freedom that it should provide, as opposed to being a slave to the charts. I do love doing this, and I like being here with you guys, but not sure I'll do this every day forever. But for the foreseeable future, I can see myself doing it. Way to challenge yourself, TJ. Yeah. Yeah, REI. Sorry about that, man. I'll change my candle colors one day. I don't know what I'm gonna change them to. I might change both colors, or maybe just one. I'm not sure. But but yeah, glad you're here, and keep being active in the chat. We all appreciate it. The more people that are here, and the more people that are active, the better the channel will be. And so just keep it up. Ah, Pip Keeper, what's going on? I don't think I'll ever just completely quit, but it may not be both sessions every day. This is true. This is absolutely true. I like that. Call it always on site. It could pump up. I don't know if anyone was watching yesterday, but after we ended the session around 4:30, it took off for some reason. I don't know what type of news was announced or what was going on, but at 4:30, for whatever reason, um, there was a nice little spike. Yeah, I know. That's what happens when you're catering to a group. There's never going to be 100% consensus on anything. So hopefully those of you who aren't as familiar with my color scheme are able to adjust. Um, that's all I got. Let's see trade. Okay. Yeah. Does anyone know what happened yesterday at 4:30? Was there some type of earnings announcement or something? Oops. Let's see. Where is that entry I tried to get in at? Both was at 56. Tried to get in at 56. Got out at 57 both times. Yeah. See, price is still in the same range. I didn't miss anything. Oracle. Okay. Top of BTC. Yeah. Right. I'm scaling out. Yeah. It might have been, maybe it was trying to anticipate what CPI was going to bring. Hmm. Okay. So it was Oracle. Yeah. Oracle definitely should be one of the companies on Nasdaq. CPI calculated in last week. Yeah, and don't forget next week, FOMC, they're going to give their indication on what they think they're going to do with interest rates going forward. So I'm sure the next few days and into early next week, people are going to be talking about prices. It's already built into the price, and or maybe it's not built into the price. So we'll start hearing that kind of chatter. All right, let me go ahead and clean some of these things up off the chart. Nvidia's up 6% still. Wow. Okay. They do. Yeah, I saw something mentioned earlier about the whales, the Elon Musk of the world, cashing out lots of their own company stock. But one thing we know about that level of investors is they don't cash out just to let their money sit. They're looking for the next investment, so they must already have something identified. I would say if rates cut, indices will go up, the dollar will go down. Uh, yeah, Khaled. So if we're looking at for the week, yeah, we're definitely bullish for the week so far. Because today's candle is massive compared to yesterday's little retracement from last week's. Yeah, I wouldn't really be alarmed until we get to about, yeah, until we get to this morning's open. So around 250. If we stay above 250, then I'm fine. I'm not worried about the bears coming in. As long as we're above 250, I feel good. Yeah, our open for the week was around 300, so that's only about 50 points below. So if I saw that happen, I would be looking for some sort of recovery out of that. And yeah, I think we're okay. Yep, as price right now, as price is just kind of consolidating, not really doing a lot. Let's go ahead and just identify what's coming tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow we do have, okay, let me get my picture off the screen. There we go. All right, so tomorrow there's nothing, no news to announce in the morning. So when we start our session in the morning, we do have the opening bell right after we get started. But from there, it's just business as usual until we get to the lunch hour. And then following lunch, we have the bond auction, just like we had today. Today it was lackluster, didn't really do much. My guess is tomorrow, since that's the only news that's going to be announced, is it may actually have a bigger impact than we saw today. So let's keep that in mind. But further than that is when we get to Friday, we have five high impact news events at 8:30. Um, so when we get our session started, we'll have all this behind us, and we'll be looking towards the opening bell, and then looking for some type of entry models to run for the rest of the day, based on how much news will be announced at 8:30. Now, if we get mixed news where some are positive, some are negative, then that's gonna throw a little wrench in in our armor there, but we'll keep moving, and we'll see what we can find. Friday, same thing, 8:30 high impact news, 10 o'clock high impact news, and then after that we're smooth sailing. So we do have quite a few events coming for the rest of the week, which will impact trading, but it should impact it in a positive way as long as we see price moving up and down. Um, Pick which one that find an entry where you feel comfortable and run that to a point of liquidity. So this week should be fine going forward. Just be careful tomorrow morning since there isn't any news. And if you're trading tomorrow during lunch, keep that in mind as well, that we have 1 o'clock news event. All right. You guys see that from Ray. Ray, he trades the London session quite often. So anyone who is looking for some pretty good price action, knowing that we don't have news in the morning, Ray is saying that tonight might be a good chance to catch that if you're able to watch the London session from anywhere from 1:30 or around 1 o'clock in the morning, New York time, until about 4. I measure the London kill zone as 2 to 5, but you can still get some good entry somewhere around starting around 1 o'clock. Of course, that question would come next. All right, I do want to, let me just point out one thing on the daily that I noticed. For anyone looking for longs tomorrow, if we're looking for price to continue higher, see this gap right here, this new week opening gap. This is from last week. Um, Ran into it twice last week, and both times we rejected down. So as we're buying now, and then we'll start tomorrow's candle, if we make it back up to that area, just keep a lookout for right here. So this is going to be 585 and 573. So 575 to 585. Just make sure you understand where that area is. And so if you start seeing price holding back or failing at that time, just so you know what it is. All right, let's get back into the 5 minute. Looks like price is starting to move up a bit. Yeah, Khaled, to build on what you mentioned earlier, the low of Monday. Honestly, I actually thought we were going to go lower than that. I thought we were going to sweep those equal lows on the weekly down at 18,080. I thought we were going to sweep those lows and then start building up. Okay. Yeah, it was just, yeah, Monday was tough. It was just a seek and destroy profile. Oh, so it's not going to close above. Okay. Nope, didn't make it. There we go. Move that back. Okay, in about 3 minutes, the final macro of the day will begin, and we'll see if price is willing to run to any of the targets that some of you may have, whether you're short or in a long position. Um, well, we all trade futures here, so futures is on contracts, not on lots. I guess CFDs may still trade on lots. Not really sure. I don't trade CFDs, but that might be the way that it works. But yeah, here it's all on contracts. So either you like doing minis, or if you want something smaller than a mini, then you have to go to micro. But that's those are your two options. If it is it safer? It should be, because you don't have to worry about different brokers increasing the spread and doing those kind of things to you. The spread generally stays at a quarter of a point. You can see it up here at the top in between where you can execute a market execution. It moves around. Sometimes you'll see it at a half or 3/4, but for the most part, it's always at 1/4. So you generally have a fixed spread. Everyone is trading the same. We all are CME. That's the only broker that you can trade these futures. So those tend to be relatively safe. And so when you have a fixed spread like that, scalping is a little easier than if the spread can easily be manipulated by the broker. Yeah. It's just odd for the spread to be so large here. You rarely ever see it that large. It must be sort of an end of the day type situation. But there are many people that are extremely successful scalping futures. So yeah, you might want to jump in and just give it a try. Like you can try it for free. I mean, just open a paper account in TradingView, and then you can start trying scalping methods and see if they work for you. Yeah, so this was our price leg. This was the latest price leg. So we had this retracement here, and then we had a new high put in. So this was the price leg that price was trapped inside of. So I just wanted to see when price would break higher, or if price would break lower. So that's all that is. Down here, this was a similar position when we were down. I was highlighting that we had equal lows. and that price may want to draw into the equal lows. It also was the lunchtime low, so that was a session. But so far, price is not traded down there, so we'll leave it on the screen. And overnight or tomorrow, likely we'll see price trade into the lunch low, or it could stay for a while, like we saw earlier. There was a lunchtime high from March the 8th, which was Friday, and then we also had a February 22nd, I believe, February 29th. Yeah, I think we had those earlier this morning. They're already, nope, they're down here. So we still have February 29th, February 22nd lows still there. So if there's a session high or low that's not traded back into, I'll leave it on the screen. But these two up here, yeah, if there's no no tag or any type of identifier, then it's just a swing point. 10 after 4, call it 4:10. All right, let's go down to the 1 minute, since we're a couple minutes inside of the macro period here. Oddly enough, as soon as the macro started, we swept these equal highs here. You know, let me just drop that so it doesn't confuse anyone. All right, so we have the new day opening gap from March the 4th that we're approaching. Further than that, we have a much larger one from the 7th. Nice daily candles. Right now, we're at and these are the highest values of the day. So either we're not going to get a top wick, or it's going to spend the 4 o'clock hour pulling back, giving some level of retracement before the break. That level I highlighted on the daily, as far as being a volume imbalance, that's the same new day opening gap right here. 500 to 526. And then the one above that was 575 to 585. Okay, yeah, right here, the purple one. Nice. Okay. All right. So yeah, we've been kind of stair stepping all the way since around 2:30. It's gonna miss. Anyway, at some point, this trend will fail. We'll start seeing price retrace a little bit, but for now, swing high is up at 18,490. There we go. Even a bounce right off of it as the next candle open. All right, so we close out the last hour right on this trend line I just drew, and the next candle just opened up right there and pushed in and swept below there. Not quite this one just yet. There's so many lows that it can sweep going down. But I'm sure the next hour, while very few people are trading, it'll retrace a little bit and create a small wick for the daily here. Okay, trade back above it. All right, let's see if it closes above or if it rejects down and closes below. Still another 15 seconds. Okay, so it stayed above. No, it didn't. Last second, it traded below. All right, everyone, that'll do it for our afternoon session. Again, thanks for joining this afternoon. Thanks for supporting the channel. For all newcomers, if this is your first time here or your first couple times, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you have the notifications on so you get invited to the future live streams. And for all returning visitors, make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Appreciate you. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning at 9:15. Till then, happy trading. Have a good evening, and I'll see you later. Take care.